Hello and welcome everybody to another episode of Pod Strickland. I'm your host, Shwin and Prez, and this is episode 540. I am not joined by my co-host Prez, who is busy being a good father both to his child and his dog. But I am joined by my favorite interim co-host. His name is Drew. Doug. Drug. Drew. Doug. Drug. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Just, of course, filling in for Prez. He's too busy, doing family stuff, right? Not talking about the Knicks and with his basketball family. But that's fine. That's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I mean it's a little insulting. But
I agree.
We all have to. I guess some people just don't have their priorities where they're supposed to be. But
I know.
we do.
Agree more. We do.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. We care about the Knicks, and everything else comes second, including Andrew Cuomo. All right, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Knicks. We're going to do that. Before we get started, I do have to make a few announcements. First, we can do the Strickland YouTube channel, where you maybe watch this podcast. If you are, if you've not done so already, please hit like, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment. That'd be a huge help to us. The Strickland also has merchandise, which you can find on our website at www.strict.land. There's a link that'll take you to our merchandise store, and there's all kinds of cool stuff on there, like t-shirts, sweatshirts, hats, coffee mugs, water bottles, you name it, we got it. Strickland also has a Patreon, which you can subscribe to. There are a number of different tiers. There's a $6 tier that gets you access to Pod Strickland, this podcast that I host every Friday with Prez. You also get access to Takes from Obvious Bozos podcast, hosted by Andrew Steele, a.k.a. Doug, who's here with me right now, along with Zach Leiter, and you get access to the Strickland Discord with the conversation never stops. There for the tiers, there's a $9 tier that gets you access to Strickland Roll, the pod that I host with YC, where we're ranting and raving about the Knicks even more. You also get access to wonderful premium articles by Matthew Miranda. Actually, no longer, unfortunately. Matthew is on to bigger and better things, but you still will get access to wonderful premium articles. You also get access to Strickland NFL, which you guessed it is a podcast about the NFL that is hosted by Konstantin Metrikos and Desmond Novak. There for the tiers is $15 tier, $30 tier, $50 tier, and a $100 tier. Those come with a variety of additional benefits, like listening on our pod recordings, merchandise discounts, and even potentially co-hosting a podcast alongside yours truly one day, whether you choose to subscribe or not. None of this would be possible without you, and none of this would be possible without FanDuel. FanDuel will take care of all of your legal betting needs. NFL, NBA, NHL, it's all happening. Check it out on FanDuel. Their competitor, ESPN Bet, has been wiped out today. They're not really. They just got a new partner with DraftKings. But FanDuel trumps them all. Check out FanDuel. Okay. The Knicks are now winners of 3 in a row. They are 5-0 at home. They trounced the Timberwolves last night, 137-114, in a game where at halftime they were down. I think it was 4 points, I think.
Yeah, it was 4 or 5.
Yeah, and it felt like they had a 9-point lead in the first half or a 10-point lead, and it kind of felt like they'd let it get away, and you're wondering, like, man, was that a missed opportunity? The start of the third quarter is a little bit sloppy too, and then the Knicks pulled away. And I think there were a lot of really good things from this game on a team level, and I think there are a lot of really good things from this game on, when we have talked about. I gotta say, at some point this year, we're gonna be able to just talk about this team with this coach and these players, and not have it be a point of comparison to the Tom Thibodeau era. But I have to bring this up just because it does stand in such stark contrast to basically anything we ever saw from Thibodeau. And that was that in this game, especially in the second half, you saw this. Mike Brown absolutely, he tweaked, he exposed Rudy Gobert. And what I mean by that is he did the smart thing of, Rudy Gobert's in the game. I'm going to play Cat at the 5 now, and we're going to be 5 out. And when they did that, they basically rendered the Timberwolves. I mean, they had no answer. They had no answer because Rudy Gobert could not check or I mean, even if I don't want to say that he couldn't check Karl-Anthony Towns, because I don't think that's the right way to put it, but because of the threat of Karl-Anthony Towns, because you have to honor him outside, it just opened up everything. It opened up everything. And in that second half, the Knicks capitalized like crazy in those minutes. And the Knicks also were able to capitalize as soon as Rudy Gobert went to the bench. And, Mitchell Robinson did his work. He absolutely pulverized the Timberwolves on the glass yesterday. He had 9 offensive rebounds, I believe, in 16 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I was just very, very impressed with not very, I mean, I don't want to, again, I don't want to like make it sound like Mike Brown did, some revolutionary coaching and like, we're about to go win the championship because of what he just unlocked. But those are the small things that, you like, would Tom Thibodeau use Cat at the 5? Yeah, obviously. We saw him do that last year.
Mm-hmm.
But it was never so tactically kind of like a precision tactical move in the way. It was never calculated. It was more like, oh, this is my rotation, right? Oh, these are my rotations, and that's how it works. And I just think that to see Mike Brown do that, where it's like, okay, I'm actually going to bring in Cat. I'm going to bring Cat back into this game now, maybe earlier than I wanted because you're bringing in Rudy, and I want to go with Cat at the 5 because I started the game. Obviously, you remember they start the game and the second half with the double bigs, right, with Cat and Mitch together. So you didn't really get that benefit at the start of the first quarter, to the start of the second half. But within the course of the game, when, obviously Rudy goes out at some point. When Rudy came back in, I think you saw in both halves, but it really bore fruit in the second half of, okay, yeah, great. You're going to bring Rudy back in. That's awesome. Because what I'm going to do is now I'm going to play Cat at the 5, and I'm actually going to play him in lineups that are, 5 out or whatever. So I thought that was really good to see. And it is great to see Josh Hart play like Josh Hart and not like Josh Fart. And it is great to see Deuce McBride back and highly effective. I thought he had a hell of a game yesterday. I think he benefited from the fact that I'm not quite sure why I know why Anthony Edwards rushed back for this game. Got to play at Madison Square Garden, but he did not look like 100%. But Deuce didn't give him an inch. I thought he did a really good job in Anthony Edwards, who's obviously one of the tougher covers in the league. But there was just a lot of good. And I just, for all of the concerns I had about Josh Hart, I got to say, I apologize, and I will learn to be better, and I will learn to remember that Josh Hart, ignore everything he says and does for like the first 5 to 6 games every year, and then move on with your life, because then he'll figure it out. He was really good yesterday. I like that he's shooting the ball with confidence, and I think because he shot the ball with confidence, he actually had pump fakes that had like guys running out at him. And look, I want to be clear too. As well as the Knicks played, I think Minnesota, I don't know what the hell that second half was from them. I thought they were so bad in that second half. Just like it was just like such an unserious effort from them, and it's a little wild because I do think they're a really good team. I know that they've had their own issues to start this season. But the Knicks, look, whatever the issues Minnesota has, that's a talented team. They have firepower, and they're a team with size that in some ways can give the Knicks issues. But the Knicks handled their business, and they really pulled away in that second half. They went 19 of 42 from 3. They beat the absolute shit out of the Timberwolves on the glass. They had 50 rebounds in total to the Timberwolves 31. I think they had like a 50. I'll pull it up the exact number. I think they had like a 50% defensive rebound rate, offensive rebound rate. Last night, just absolute dominance. And the smallest, maybe not the smallest thing, but obviously all the stuff with taking more threes, getting the ball up the floor faster, moving the ball around, having guys cut, all that stuff is wonderful and great. And it's absolutely things that we all wanted to see more of once this coaching change was made. One thing that I did not want to lose was this team's identity as a strong rebounding team. And lo and
Mhm.
behold, the Knicks are the number 1 defensive rebound percentage team in the league, and they are the number 3 offensive rebound percentage team in the league. So, if you can win with Silk, that's nice. If you can win with Steele, that's good too. So the Knicks are they can beat you with bats or they can paint you a portrait. Either way, they have multiple avenues now to win, and I think that is really, really encouraging.
The Josh Hart off the bench, kind of like figuring shit out, really like stabilizes everything. Like it's kind of funny how important he really is because you kind of need that off the bench. So hopefully he continues this. Do you think his shot looks different, or is it just the fact that he's confident in shooting? Because I feel like I'm watching the game.
Josh Hart?
Yeah, Josh Hart.
I just think that he is one of these guys that like when he's confident, the shot looks good.
Yeah.
But it can swing like that. Like I don't know what caused. I don't think there's. I know what you're saying. I think there is a mechanical difference between how he's shooting right now versus how he was shooting at the end of the Pacers series, right? Like, didn't he have like a fucking?
It just
Didn't he hit the side of the? I think he had like he hit the side of the backboard at one
yeah,
point.
he
I
hit
don't
the
know.
side of the backboard.
Yeah, but like, and I think the big thing with him is he's never actually like if you want to learn how to take jump shots, don't do anything Josh Hart does on his jump shot.
No, don't do anything.
But like, I think when he's really struggling and he's really in his own head, there's like on top of the fact that he's never actually, in line, in balance when he shoots, he's
Never.
also just like he's got like a weird hitch going on, but right now you can just tell he's up there and he's just like it looks
just let it shoot.
Smooth. Yeah, it looks smooth, and again, he's never going to be some guy that you're like, this is not Allen Houston. You're not going to be like, this is a textbook jumper, fellas. Like, but yeah, no, I agree. He looks confident right now when he's shooting, which is it's also bizarre because literally a week ago we were like, what if Josh Hart's broken?
No, and I was having this conversation with Zach, and you're just kind of like, it takes for obvious bozos, which you would know, which everyone would know here because it's a Patreon podcast. We're just kind of talking about because like his player profile is kind of like the hustle guy who will break down eventually. So we're like, oh shit, is this the beginning of the end? And as of right now, it's not, which is wonderful. Also, we have his shooting and everything, but the defense. I think his defense off the bench has been significantly better. And surprisingly, Jordan Clarkson's defense off the bench has also been very good. And just having those two guys compete and be productive bench players like that, and then Deuce being like that stable player, it's wonderful to watch right now. It's like the Knicks have a bench, and the only guy I need to worry about right now is Yabusele. And I'm not that worried about him because I think he just needs some time to adjust to the role. Because I think they're having Yabusele, at least Brown's having Yabusele play like the 5 on offense, right? And the 5 on offense, for what I've been seeing so far with this motion, at least the base set, is like it's very different than all the other positions. So I think he's just trying to get used to it. But I don't know. It's just
the Knicks had a 48.8 offensive rebound percentage last night. That's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's great. That's pretty good.
Especially
again, it was Mitch
when
just dominating.
Well, they had to think about this. They shot 55 of 102 from the field, so that's 50, just shy of under 54%. They went 9, so they missed fucking 47 shots, right?
Mm-hmm.
They offensive rebounded on 21 of 47 shots.
Yeah, it's crazy to think about like how good that is. And Minnesota, it surprisingly just wasn't that good on the defensive rebounds.
This is also crazy because Minnesota shot 19 of 40 from 3 last night. 19 of 40. Like and they got absolutely destroyed. I mean, the Knicks, if you look at the 4 factors, the Knicks won in 3 of the 4 factors. They had a better effective field goal percentage. They had a lower turnover percentage. They absolutely destroyed them again in terms of offensive rebound percentage. The only thing Minnesota did better than them is get to the line, and they didn't even get to the line at that high of a rate. So, yeah, this is I don't know how else to say this, but like Europe, it would not shock me. The Knicks might have better wins. They might have bigger blowouts and whatnot. They might just have a game where they go, absolutely nuclear from three and all these. I would be pretty. I should. Let me phrase it this way. I would not be surprised if by the end of this season we look back at it in totality and we look at this game and we're like, this was their most comprehensive victory of the season. It was that dominant, and I don't know, they destroyed Minnesota in Minnesota last year, but that one felt like that was like Cat had a monster game, right? He was like, hitting everything, and this didn't feel like, oh my god, I'm not saying like obviously OG has a really nice game, Brunson had a nice game, Cat had a good game, Mitchell Robinson had a good game, Josh Hart had a good game, Miles McBride had a good game, like Clarkson had a good game. Basically, everybody had a good game. Everybody that played had a good game last night. So it's not what I'm saying, but there was no, oh my god, this dude is playing out of his mind, right? There was nothing like that. This was not like, holy shit, this guy went off for 37 points, right? Like, just look at this box. If you just look at this box score, okay, OG has 25, right, Brunson has 23, Towns has 15, Hart has 18 off the bench, Deuce has 14 off the bench, Bridges has 13, Mitchell Robinson has 8 and 10, Jordan Clarkson chips in with 7 points. Like, this is like you got 8 solid contributions yesterday. 8. Like that's and that's what I mean when I say it would not surprise me if this is the most comprehensive victory of the season, because it was comprehensive in the sense of everybody that played basically contributed to it, and yet there was not one player that did, oh my god, this guy did all of the heavy lifting or something, right? Like, and I think that is different from some of because the Knicks did have a lot of big wins last year. They did, and I think it's easy to forget that. But I think this one felt different in the way that it occurred. Whereas I think a lot of times last year when they would have those huge games, it would be like, oh my god, Karl-Anthony Towns went off. Oh my god, Jalen Brunson went off, and that really didn't happen last night. Like, again, your highest scorer put up 25, and you put up a $137. Like, that's like what coaches dream of.
Yeah. I'm pulling up some things right now, which I find fascinating, at least. Because I know the passing stats have been a big emphasis right now. Just the Knicks are, was it like 4th, 3rd in passing? Hold on, let me just double check.
Yeah, I can pull it up right now.
Yeah, passes made, they're 5th right now in the league, and like passes made compared to whatever it was before. What I love right now with the team is doing is they are 4th in 3-point attempts for catch and shoot, and they are 4th in effective field goal percentage off catch and shoot. So this passing, the cutting, the driving is leading to like really, really, really clean catch and shoot looks, which is all we ever wanted for this team, right? Is just to move the ball, move yourself, and get clean looks. And the Knicks are capitalizing on it. And also, they don't look that fluid yet with like the intricacies of when they're supposed to cut, when they're supposed to screen, how do individuals pass to certain angles and stuff like that in this specific offense. They're not there yet, which is crazy to think about because of how well balanced the scoring was yesterday. And it's just like they're not there yet either. Like they're not. There's still so much left on the table for what this team can do offensively and even defensively, because they still need to make up for the defense because they're still adjusting to that as well. Where a lot of it was just man, right? Tibbs was just like, man up. It didn't matter, just like man up. And now watching them, it's the nebulous zone that we've been seeing in the NBA, where it's like it's a 2-3 zone, but like you do have your man, and then you can switch in certain areas on certain people and stuff like that. And that takes a little while. We saw that a couple times against Minnesota, where Minnesota got a couple backdoor cuts, because they didn't know when to switch and whatnot. I think we just are in this rough period, like the learning curve period, and it's looking really good, right? Like it's still looking really good, and that's honestly just really is wonderful to see.
Yeah, I mean, just to your point, the Knicks are getting the fourth most 3-point attempts, catch and shoot per game. They're actually tied second with Boston. They're getting 32.3 catch and shoot threes per game. They're they're hitting those at a 41.1% clip, which is fucking nuts. That's a 60.3 EFG. Like it's crazy. It's basically like them and the Bulls, and in terms of like the efficiency. But yeah, it's just, are they going to hit at 41% on catch and shoot the rest of the season? I don't know. I mean, that's a high number. What I will say is the Knicks have a lot of good catch and shoot players. They have a lot of good catch and shoot players that can be, we know Deuce McBride, we know Jalen Brunson, obviously, Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby,
Towns,
Karl Anthony Towns. I mean, this is the thing. Karl Anthony Towns hasn't even shot the ball well yet.
No, he hasn't.
He
was 1 for 5 last night. He's been missing his threes, and we're like waiting for those to fall, and they will fall.
Yeah, and just by the way, just as a point of comparison, last year the Knicks were 27th in the league in terms of 3-point attempts, catch and shoot per game. That was at 23.4. So they've upped their catch and shoot 3-point attempts per game by 9 through the first 8 games. Last year, and by the way, last year they shot 38.8% on catch and shoot threes. Like, this is a good shooting team. This is a good shooting team. And again, just for reference, last year, that 38.8% mark, that would have been that was the 7th best mark on catch and shoot threes in the league. So, are they going to stay at 41? I don't know. Let's say they don't. Let's say they come back down to where they were last year. That's probably still going to end up being a top 10 mark. And if you're getting 9 more attempts per game of a top 10 of just a high quality 3-point look, like, yeah, that's going to work in your favor. That is, again, like, I talked about this with Stacy on the pod that we did a couple days ago, but like, when you fire Tom Thibodeau and you move on from Tom Thibodeau and you're not making really, significant roster changes, what you're saying is we didn't capture the margins as like that we think we could have. And the results are great. It's great. We got the Eastern Conference Finals, but we don't think repeating that achievement is likely if we continue to go about our business this way. If we continue to run our operation this way, we will not have the same results, as great as those results were last year. And what it means is stuff like this. It's like, hey, like, can we get 6, 7, 8, 9 more catch and shoot threes per game? Can we get more easy buckets just because we're using our spacing, our ball movement, guys are cutting? Is that possible? Can we get more out of Mikal Bridges? Can we get more out of OG Anunoby? Can we get more out of Deuce McBride? Like, these are the margins you're talking about. Can we, whatever, we can go on and on. But, when you see a game like yesterday, and again, like, even in that game, it didn't feel like they were great for 48 minutes, which is kind of scary to think about. It's like they weren't even that great for 48 minutes. They were probably great for what, like 15 of the 48, and that's all they needed. Like, within that 15 minutes, they blew out the fucking Timberwolves. So yeah, I'm just very encouraged by what I've seen so far through 8 games. I don't want to get too crazy, but 8 games, it is like 10% of the season. It's not nothing. I don't think, again, you haven't played enough of the league yet to truly kind of have a full idea of where you stack up. But, I think if you look at the Knicks schedule so far, you will see that, like, actually they've played a pretty decent schedule. Like, they beat Cleveland in the first game of the year. They've played the Bulls twice already, and apparently the Bulls are fucking awesome. So that's interesting.
Still don't believe it.
I mean, it's and they played Miami. Miami's been, they've actually performed really well even with the difficult schedule. I actually watched their game a couple of nights ago where they beat the Clippers. I thought that was like a very, very impressive performance. Sad to say, Um, but like, you look at some of these losses, okay, you lose to the Bucks. Look, I'm not trying to excuse losses or make it seem like,
Mhm.
it's a victory or something. But like, I think if you look at these teams in actuality of who they lost to, you'd probably be like, okay, like, yeah, the Knicks should beat this team on any given night. But like on any given night in the regular season, yeah, you might lose to a team that's worse than you. And I think they happen to do that 3 times in a row. You do want to get your first road win of the season at some point very soon.
Mhm.
But forgetting that piece of it, I just think like where this team is 8 games in this early in the season, I feel like it's really positive and it's trending in ways that are good. I think they are, like you mentioned, that this is not really like their final form or anything yet. There's a
No,
lot
not
more
yet.
for them to get done. Um, but it's very promising. And like one of the things I saw yesterday that I really liked. Um, Minnesota in, I believe it was the first day. I was in the first half. I don't remember. It might have been the second quarter. Um, but they were trying to pressure the Knicks higher up the floor and kind of really get into them in the half court. And we know, like we saw in that 3-game losing streak against Miami, against Milwaukee, against Chicago, that at times when teams were really pressuring them, the Knicks were kind of getting out of their offense and they were not executing. But they executed a really nice pressure release yesterday where, Towns has the ball top of the key. I think Bridges tossed it to him. And then Deuce comes up and basically sets a back screen on McCall's man, and McCall cuts down the middle of the lane. Cat's able to hit him on a cut. He gets a layup. But like
Mhm.
those are the things that I'm like, that to me, I was like, okay, that stood out because I don't think a week ago they would have or could have executed that. So to see them execute that, um, you know, in real time within the context of the game, adjusting to the coverages, those are the really promising signs for me that I think, when you start seeing more and more and more of it, you'll be very, very encouraged.
That play is going to be, it's not even a play, right? It's just a read and react type of action, but that action is going to be very deadly sooner rather than later because when they do the back screen, someone has to commit to the cutter, right? Someone has to commit to the back screen. Towns can pass it. And if you send two to the ball, or if you send another person to the ball, or you send another person to cover the cut and it doesn't, uh, there's a miscommunication, then you have Deuce or the screener open for a three. So like there's like these little like wrinkles in this read and react that are going to be incredible to watch, especially because with the Towns passing, that's going to be really key because when they're really split cutting off of the elbow posts, which is kind of interesting. The NBA stats doesn't have the Knicks having a lot of like elbow touches, right? Like they have them like at like the bottom 5 or bottom 3 in elbow touches per game. But the way that they use Towns and their centers is effectively an elbow touch, and it's going to be great. Didn't Deuce also screen Towns for his only open three?
He might have. I mean, Deuce is a really intuitive screener, which is why like it was so annoying to me he didn't play more last year because if you're kind of
Yeah, no, yeah,
expecting your players, like there's a difference between read and react is a type of like the triangle is a read and react system. The
yes,
the offense the Warriors run, which is like kind of like a modified triangle. It has a lot of corner. I mean, the corner offense itself is a modified
is
triangle offense. They have
right.
a
That's
lot
read
of
and react.
similarities.
Is that
Yeah, but they're all read and react, but they have a set of like, if the
mhm.
defense does this, you do that, and then this guy does this, and that guy does that. It's a string of decisions.
Yes,
So you need your
yes,
players to really be. I mean, you need your players to be like high IQ players, effectively. Like they need to understand what each situation calls for, but there are set kind of, if the coverage is this, you can do this. If the coverage is that, you can do that. Like it's all kinds of stuff like that. That's
mhm.
that's very very basic. Like what these great historic read and react offenses are. Be it Phil Jackson's triangle offense teams, be it Spurs in like 2014, which is one of the most fun teams ever. These are kind of like the obviously the Golden State teams. Like this is kind of what they do. And so like when Tibbs would be like, I just want guys to read and react. Like I don't have a problem with that. My problem with it is like, okay, but like, are you giving them a format? Like, are you providing a template and then like instructions and guidelines within that? Or is it literally like they go out there and they have to figure out how to do things on their own? And that's what it felt like, that they were just often like randomly figuring stuff out. But because there was no, kind of guidelines as a group for how they would do it. I mean, you saw this all the time last year, right? Guys cutting into the same spots and the spacing.
I was just about to say the read and react going into how many times did we see a cutter cut into Jalen Brunson's driving lane, or someone cut into the roll man's lane to the basket? Like that was Tibbs's read and react